Hello students, this is Miss Joseph. Welcome to African American History Month. This year we are attempting to kick off African American History Month a little different. We want to share with you who inspires us in African American history. So your teachers, the staff, we're going to show you why we are influenced by great people in African American history. And as a result of that, we're going to be asking you, who inspires you in African American history? To kick off this year's African American History Month, I want to first tell you who inspires me in African American history. And you might know that it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I've been to your classes and I've shared this story with you. I admire Dr. King because of his courage. Courage means the ability to do something even though you might be afraid, or even though it may cause you some pain, you do it anyway. Dr. King saw a huge injustice with the treatment of African American citizens. He didn't just stop and look and do nothing. He decided that he was going to fight for justice, and he answered that cause by being the spokesperson of the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955. From there, he became the key visual spokesperson during the Civil Rights Movement. I want you to know that in our current community, there are many injustices that still occur. One of the causes that I am most passionate about is education. That's why I became a teacher. That's why I am now a principal. I want to know from you, what cause are you passionate about? What are you willing to be courageous about? What are you willing to fight for in your community in 2022? So we're going to be expecting you to show us, tell us what cause you're fighting for.
Hi everyone, this is Ms. Gaspard. I'm your 7th and 8th grade science teacher. Today I want to talk to you about who inspires me in African American history. And again, African American history doesn't mean that it's someone who's no longer with us. There are so many people that inspires me, or that have inspired me. It was really difficult for me to choose just one person. From activists to educators to inventors, there were just so many people, politicians, just to name a few. Phyllis Wheatley, who was kidnapped from her native country and brought here and still managed to rise above her circumstances and become one of the first African American poets. Carter G. Woodson, who's actually the father of Black History Month. He advocated for Black History Month, which is why we actually have a month where we celebrate African Americans. Shirley Chisholm, just to name a few, but again, there are so many. John Lewis. But the one person that I did settle on was Barack Obama. Barack Obama, as you know, was elected the first ever African American president of the United States. And the reason why I selected former President Barack Obama is because I just love everything that he stands for. He's always been so poised, diplomatic, charismatic, intelligent, firm, but lighthearted, sense of humor, but about his business. And again, there's just something about being the first. And to be the first elected African American president of the United States is a lot. I remember in 2008 for the election, I was first in line. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning and outside of the voting polls at 4:45 in the morning with a chair all alone because I wanted to be the first person to cast my vote at that precinct for Barack Obama. And I was just so overwhelmed when he won. And all I could wish was that my grandmother was alive to see that. That was just a momentous occasion. So there's so much more I can say about Barack Obama, as well as all of these other wonderful people who came before him. But again, I selected Barack Obama because he's a force to be reckoned with. I love everything that he stands for, and I love that he continues to advocate for our rights and just for things that he believes in. And so I want to end by saying, who inspires you?
Hi, I'm Ms. Mayfield, your academic quality facilitator. And this is Black History Month, and I'm trying to figure out who was the one person that impacted my life the most. Well, I didn't have one, I actually had 5. And it all began even when I was a little girl. Music and children have always been my passion. So my most influential people are choir directors. The first one was when I came out the gate, yes, when I was born. The first one is Naomi Gordon. She was the first lady of our church, a very strong choir director. She taught me how to do things with perfection. She was the kind of person that if you couldn't do it right, don't do it at all. And then move on to the next person, which was Alice Clark. She was the person that taught me the power of prayer and who my audience was. She embedded in me that this is not your audience, this is. Meaning to make sure that whatever you do, that God would be pleased with your work. Then I got a little older, and then I moved on to my nanny, who is Lois Dejan. She is an activist as well as a person who took me around the country singing, and I got the experience of masses of people. Then I moved on to high school, and then I ran into Miss Salya J. Seals. She gave me the skills that I needed to technically perfect what was a natural gift God had given me. And then last but not least, the late Mattie Moss Clark. She is or was the mother of who we know as the Clark sisters. I worked with her for a number of years, and the power she had in her hands, the confidence, the drive to do it right, all of these components made me and has influenced me to be the kind of person that I am today. Yes, you see me all the time pushing and pushing and pushing, helping you or wanting you to strive to be the very best that you can be. Simply because all of those people drove me to be the best that I could be and helped me to understand that the sky was the limit, and reminded me that the scripture says that it does not yet appear what we shall be. But when he shall appear, we'll be just like him. Meaning we are striving to be the best of whatever and whoever we want to be. I say to you, as a Black nation, the sky is the limit. Strive to be the best you can be. Thanks.
Hello everybody, this is Miss Jones, Miss D. Jones. Let me be clear. I teach 6th grade math. To speak about Black history is actually really calming for me. You guys, I love a few of our patrons that came before us. First and foremost, Martin Luther King, of course. That's the classic. Everyone goes for Martin Luther King. My personal reasons is because he stood for what he believed in. He was also able and willing to articulate himself in a way where he was able to lead the masses to begin a movement to help us to fight for ourselves. But on the contrary, I also love Malcolm X, because while Martin Luther King was nonviolent, Malcolm X believed in standing up for himself. Malcolm X didn't believe in turning the other cheek. He believed in saying something and standing up for himself at all times and standing up for his people. So I love them both because they both were great leaders, but they've led in two different ways. So I believe that there's a place for both of them in this world, and that we should take notes from the both of them and know when to turn the other cheek, but also know when to fight back and when to stand up for what you believe in.
Hi boys and girls, I am Miss Frazier. The person that I've chose today, I'm sure you've heard much about her. Her name is Harriet Tubman. I say Harriet Tubman inspires me the most because she was the person who led many slaves to freedom. As an educator, it is my top priority to be an example of black excellence, just as she was to us. So that's why I chose Harriet Tubman.
All right, hello everyone. I'm here to talk about a person that inspired me very much as I was growing up. This person was the first of all, he was an American professional baseball player. He became the first African American player to play in the major leagues, and he played first base for the Brooklyn Dodgers. This person went on to win many awards throughout his professional career in the major leagues. Who am I? In case you're still guessing, I am Jackie Robinson, the first African American professional baseball player in the major leagues.
Coach Stewart, physical education teacher for 5th through 8th grade. The person that inspired me is Eddie G. Robinson. I didn't know much about him until I got to college. I went to college at Grambling State University, where he coached at, which is a historically black college in northern Louisiana. He coached sports in a time where it wasn't much inclusion for blacks. In the early times when blacks wasn't getting opportunities in other fields to showcase their talent. He coached multiple sports on a college level, and he was one of the best coaches to ever coach to this day. That's where I got a lot of my inspiration from, Eddie G. Robinson.
Hi, I'm Mr. Gordon Metters, speaking on behalf of what African American influenced me the most. I chose the artist Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke inspired me probably more than likely by being active in the civil rights alongside Malcolm X, alongside Jim Brown, alongside Muhammad Ali, and just that entire group I just thought was strong-minded black men. Of course, Jim Brown played NFL, Malcolm X was a civil rights activist in a different manner, and of course Muhammad Ali was also that, and they were in a tight-knit group. And I always watched Sam Cooke from afar, and just paid attention to how he moved and how he operated. He was close to the gospel, and he just looked like he lived in the right way.
Hi guys, I'm Miss Jackson, and I would like to tell you about my person who inspires me the most. She is none other than Rosie Jackson, who is over child nutrition for Orleans Parish. She is my mother. She was just honored for serving 50 years in Orleans Parish School Board, serving our kids here at Ben Franklin, as well as a number of other schools in the city. She inspires me because 50 years, that's a long time to be working. But she is passionate about the kids and making sure they have healthy meals, and I am also passionate about the kids and making sure they are well equipped to be independent when they're older. Thank you. Rosie Jackson, Child Nutrition.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Richard Thomas. I am the talented individual arts teacher here at Legacy of Excellence in Franklin Elementary School. My most important person in history, in African American history, is of course Dr. Martin Luther King. When I was about the age of 10 and repeating 4th grade for the first time, in 1963, I heard his amazing voice as my family gathered around the small black and white TV in our living room. We all were held captive as we listened to his delivery of his "I Have a Dream" speech. It brought tears to my eyes. After graduating high school in 1973, and 10 years later, I found an old record player put out for trash and thrown away. And to my surprise, among them were this wonderful collection of Dr. King's speeches. Excited to have made the discovery, I began to play it every morning while getting dressed for college. I was going to Xavier University at this time. I would use it to inspire me every day. I would get so psyched up and excited that I was gonna make every day count, like you should as young students. I used to try to recite his speech every day exactly like him. You know, with that voice, that powerful voice. I have a dream. And my favorite part of that speech was the phrase that says, one day his 4 little children will live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Being a young African American man at that time, hearing and believing in his words every day meant a lot to me, and I am continuously inspired by my sense of social consciousness and community consciousness, and this is why I am still teaching. Thank you.
I'm Keith Turner, and the African American that inspires me the most is known for saying, "Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee," none other than Muhammad Ali. He inspires me because he stood up for what he believed in. He never gave up, and he went on to be the GOAT at what he did. I love Muhammad Ali.
Good morning, Benjamin Franklin students. As you know, I am Mrs. Rivers, and the person that I'm going to speak to you about today is Marva Collins. Marva Collins was an educator who inspired me to become an educator. Ms. Collins emphasized achievement in academics, and she believed that all students can learn no matter what challenges that they may be faced with in life. If you put your mind to it, believe it, you can achieve it. She once said that true teaching is dedication, common sense, determination, and a love for students. I believe that I have some of the same characteristics as Ms. Collins. I believe that all children can learn, and I love working with students.
Hi, name is Clarence Harrell, and I would like to talk about people that inspire me where I am right today. There's a family, 4 family members, my mother, my great aunt, my brother, and my sister. Those 4 people inspire me to be where I'm at right now. They all are not here anymore, but I love them. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. The man I am now, I would have to give all the credit to them. I love them, and I hope you guys have other people inspire you. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Lewis, and I'm here today to tell you about a person who inspired me. The person who inspired me is my grandmother, Mrs. Manevia Riley. My grandmother was a woman of great faith. She was strong and she was committed. She was a well-rounded woman. She was truly a woman of distinction. My grandmother told me, no matter what your job title is, always do it to the best of your ability. My grandmother not only talked the talk, she walked the walk. She led by example. My grandmother is a big reason I'm the woman I am today. She poured into my mother, who in turn poured into me, and I'm taking the charge to pour it into you. I hope you have truly been inspired by my grandmother the way I've been inspired by my grandmother, and hopefully you have someone in your life that you're inspired by too. Okay, you've heard from me, you've heard from your teachers, and you've heard from our staff telling you who in African American history inspires them, influences them. Now it's time for us to hear from you. Who inspires you? Who influences you? Who is a person in our African American history that you would like to model? Who is that representative for you? We know that you have many talents. We know you have many things that you are proud of and many things that you might want to see changed in our society. We are working towards excellence here at Benjamin Franklin. We are on the road to becoming more studious. Many of you are, trying to reach that honor roll status. So this is a part of developing just who you are and what you are passionate about, so that you can use that passion to uplift not only yourself but your community. So I'm really going to be excited to hear and see who inspires and influences you in African American history.